Welcome parents and guardians to the University of Warwick. I'm Hannah Friend and I'm the Director of Wellbeing and Safeguarding here at the University. I'm responsible for the University's wellbeing strategy and for the many teams that support our community wellbeing. As parents and guardians, it's a big day when your son or daughter goes to university, and it's one that brings with it mixed emotions. Try not to let those feelings of nostalgia and loss overshadow what should be an exciting time and the start of a new journey. Remember too, they will be conflicted by feelings of the past and the present and the future. There are many changes ahead, and I want to share with you some of our observations and experiences. For them, there will be multiple changes. On a practical level, they will be learning to live with people they don't know, people from different backgrounds and different cultures. They will be learning to budget for themselves and cook for themselves. On an academic level, they're going to become independent learners, and they're going to have to exercise a huge amount of self-discipline. For some of them, that's going to be new. On a personal level, they're going to need to make new friends, develop new social networks, and we know 2 out of 3 students will at some point feel homesick. And we know from experience that homesickness often peaks at the start of the second term, when they've been home for the holidays, refamiliarised themselves with the home comforts they've forgotten about. And what about changes for you? The big one is communication. You're used to having that line of sight, knowing at a quick glance if they're well, if they're fed, and if they're okay. And that's going to change. It might be time to let go a little. They're going to be adjusting to their new world, and they need space to do that. So expect some changes. One way to approach this is to agree a communication plan with them. Make that realistic. There's no right or wrong. Base it on your relationship with them. Having a plan will help, because it will stop you feeling frustrated when they don't call, and it will stop them from feeling guilty for not calling. Also on communication, we welcome students here as adults, and as such, we respect their right to privacy. Confidentiality belongs to them. What does that mean? It means we can't share their information. We can't share their information without their consent. Therefore, we can't give updates to parents on their academic progress, or on their health issues, or indeed if they're seeking support. However, as a university, we recognise that sometimes it's useful to share information. So what we do is when students come to us for support, we encourage them to mobilise all their support networks, and that includes significant others and family. And where they struggle to do that, we ask them for permission to liaise on their behalf. And what we find is students are very willing to do that. Students quickly become acquainted with our community safety team. They build rapport with the students and generally look out for their welfare. They do regular patrols around campus, and they're the emergency team that students can call out of hours. Also, living in the accommodation, we have our residential life team. They are postgraduate students or staff who volunteer to live in the accommodation, and they keep a watchful eye over our students and help them and support them in that transition from home to independence. On wellbeing, it's difficult not to worry when we hear so much in the media about young people's mental health. But the university have teams that are ready and able to respond, and we have a strategy that focuses on prevention as well as intervention. Early intervention is important, and well-trained staff spot signs early. Wellbeing professionals are accessible without appointment on the same day. This allows early identification of urgent needs that we can accelerate and prioritised immediately. For young people who struggle to ask for help, and we know there are many, we have a digital mental health service called Together All, where students can access this service anonymously. So things will change, but you can influence the journey. And I want to leave you with just a few tips from my own personal experience as a mother and some of the things that maybe I didn't necessarily get right. Try to resist doing wake-up calls. They need to be late. They need to feel that sense of panic when they're rushing to a lecture. Only by feeling that sense of panic will they do something different. Try to resist calling their tutors. For reasons I've mentioned already, that we're limited in what they can say to you. You have been their problem solvers and their fixers whilst they've been growing up. They now need to learn to be their own problem solvers and their own fixers. They need to learn how to fail, and they need to learn how to fail well. This is as important for their personal development as achieving, and it will help them build the resilience they need to use their education to the maximum. And lastly, don't think you can cure homesickness at home. It does just make it more painful coming back. So congratulations to you and them for getting this far, and enjoy the journey.